At my son Leo's 7th birthday party, I was balancing paper plates in one hand and my phone in the other when my sister video called from the hospital break room. I almost ignored it. We had kids running through the living room like tiny hurricanes, and Leo had just learned the exact pitch that makes my left eye twitch when he screams, "Mom!" from across the house. But my sister never called during events unless it was important. I answered and held the phone up so she could see the chaos. "Happy birthday, baby," she yelled into the camera, then turned to me. "Kay, did you open the envelope yet?" I blinked. "What envelope?" Her smile froze. "The one I sent, for his party, for everything." Behind me, my husband Derek went still in the kitchen doorway, like someone had paused him mid-breath. He was holding a tray of cupcakes I'd baked at 2 a.m. after finishing my overnight grocery delivery shift. My sister's eyebrows lifted. "Kayla, I sent it on Monday. I've been sending money every month." I laughed because that's what you do when reality makes no sense. "No, you haven't. I would know. I would have thanked you." My sister's face drained of color. "Kay, I have been sending $400 every month for 2 years. 2 years. The sound of the party muffled, like my ears had filled with cotton. I stared at her phone screen, waiting for her to say she was joking. She didn't. "I didn't want you to struggle alone," she said, voice dropping. "I know you'd never ask. I told myself it was just rent help, school clothes, field trips. I've been picking up extra shifts for this." Derek's cupcake tray tilted slightly. One cupcake slid, frosting smearing on the metal. He caught it with his thumb and licked the frosting like it was nothing. My sister didn't see him. Her eyes were locked on me. "Kay," she repeated. "I've been sending it to Derek's account, the one you gave me, ending in 0936. My stomach flipped. 0936 was Derek's work expenses account, the one he told me was separate because he traveled for construction jobs and needed to track receipts. I turned my head slowly toward him. His eyes were huge. His mouth opened like he wanted to speak, but no sound came out. "Jenna," I said into the phone, "show me." My sister's hand shook as she reached into her tote bag and pulled out a wrinkled envelope stuffed with papers, like she'd rehearsed this moment without knowing why. She held up bank transfer confirmations. Month after month. Same amount, same account, same routing number. My mouth went dry. I thought of Leo's birthday decorations from the dollar store, the homemade banner I'd drawn with marker. The times Leo asked why his sneakers hurt, and I told him to break them in because I couldn't afford new ones yet. I thought of the nights I'd skipped dinner, telling myself I wasn't hungry, so the kids could have second servings. I thought of the field trip forms I'd signed, declined, smiling too wide while Leo's teacher said, "Maybe next time." My sister's voice came through the phone, soft and urgent. "Kay, I'm not trying to start something. Today is his birthday. I wanted him to have a good one. I wanted you to breathe." I turned back to Derek. His face had gone pale, like the color had drained out through his feet. "Derek," I whispered, "where is it?" He swallowed. "Kay, where is it?" My voice was louder than I intended. In the living room, a kid stopped mid-laugh and looked toward the kitchen. I forced a smile so wide it hurt. "Everything's fine," I called, voice syrupy, and then turned back, dropping the smile like a mask. Derek set the cupcake tray down with hands that trembled. "It's not what you think." "Then show me," I said. He hesitated. I stepped closer and held out my hand. "Your phone. Now." For a second, something flickered in his eyes. Not guilt, not shame, calculation. And that scared me more than anything. But he handed it over. His passcode was the same as always, Leo's birthday. Of course it was. I opened the banking app. There it was, deposit, deposit, deposit. Jenna's name attached to everyone. Then withdrawals. Not groceries, not rent, not school supplies. A TM withdrawal, Riverfront Casino, $200. A TM withdrawal, Riverfront Casino, $300. A TM withdrawal, Riverfront Casino, $200. Online sportsbook transfer, $150. Cash advance, $400. My vision blurred. 2 years, I whispered, my brain doing math even as it refused to believe it. $400 a month, that's about $9,600, Jenna said quietly, hearing the way I'd started calculating. Almost $10,000. I thought of the time I sold my mother's necklace to cover Leo's winter coat. I remembered Derek holding me while I cried in the bathroom, whispering, "We'll figure it out." I remembered him telling me I was bad with money, telling me we had to budget better, telling me it was my fault our life felt like sand slipping through our fingers. All while my sister was sending money that I never saw. My sister's voice came sharp through the phone, a nurse's command voice. "Derek, answer her." Derek stared at the floor. I was going to tell you. "Tell me what?" I hissed. "That you've been taking my sister's money while our kids' shoes have holes? That you watched me skip meals while you fed a casino?" His shoulders caved in. "I have a problem." The words hit me like an insult. He said them like they were a shield, like addiction was a magic phrase that erased the fact that my child had cried on his birthday last year because he wanted a store-bought cake and I couldn't afford it. "You had help coming in," I said, voice deadly quiet. "And you hid it. You let me believe my own sister didn't care." Jenna's breathing sounded shaky through the phone. "Kay, I didn't know. I swear to you I didn't know." I know, I whispered, and it broke something in me. Because if Jenna didn't know, that meant Derek had been lying to both of us with the same ease he used when he told Leo, "Next time, buddy." Leo ran into the kitchen then, paper crown sliding off his head, cheeks flushed from running. "Mom, can we do cake now?" I looked at my son's face and felt like my chest was splitting. "Yes, baby," I said. "Go get everyone. 5 minutes." He bolted away. When he was gone, I turned back to Derek. "I want the truth," I said. "All of it. Right now." He rubbed his hands over his face. "It started small." "It always does," Jenna snapped. Derek flinched at her voice. I thought I could win it back. I thought I could fix it before anyone noticed. I stared at the screen again. Riverfront Casino. So many times it became a pattern. "July 22nd, I said, voice shaking. "That was Leo's swim lesson. You said you were stuck at work." Derek's eyes closed. "October 9th, I continued. "That was parent-teacher night. You said your boss wouldn't let you leave." He didn't answer. I scrolled. "December 18th, I whispered. "That was when Leo asked if Santa was mad at him." My throat tightened, remembering Leo's little face, serious and worried, as he held a paper list of how to be better. Derek's mouth trembled. "Kay, please." "Do not say please to me," I snapped. "Not after you made our son think he wasn't good enough." Jenna's voice came through cold now. "Kay, I'm calling Mom." "Don't," I said automatically. Then I stopped. Why not? Why was I still protecting him? Why was I still shaping my life around Derek's mess? I swallowed. "Call her." Jenna nodded once and disappeared from the frame, her phone jostling as she moved. Derek took a step closer to me. I saw his hands clench at his sides. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't even moving fast. But something in the way he closed the distance made my skin crawl. "Kayla," he said softly. "Don't do this. Not like this." I backed up until my hip hit the counter. The party laughter in the other room sounded like it came from a different universe. I slipped my phone under the counter and typed a message to my neighbor with my thumb without looking down. "Are you home? Might need help?" Within seconds. "Doors open. Come anytime." My heart pounded. Leo's friends began lining up near the table, chanting, "Cake, cake, cake!" I forced my face into a smile that felt like glass breaking. I cut the cake with hands that shook. I watched Leo blow out candles and make a wish, and I wondered what kind of world I was handing him. When the party finally thinned, when parents picked up kids one by one, Derek hovered too close, like he was guarding me from leaving, like he knew I was about to run. When the last guest left, I locked the door slowly. The click sounded final. Derek started talking fast. "I'm going to get help, I swear. I'll go tomorrow. I'll pay it back. Jenna will get her money. Stop," I said. I pulled out my phone and hit record. I placed it on the counter between us. The red dot blinked like a warning. His eyes flicked to it. "What are you doing?" "Protecting myself," I said, "because I don't know who you are anymore." He began pacing, hands in his hair, blaming stress, blaming work, blaming pressure, using every excuse people use when they don't want consequences. I let him talk. I let him dig his own hole. When he finally said, "I took it," and then tried to soften it with, "I meant to give it back," I felt nauseous. Leo wandered into the kitchen in pajamas, rubbing his eyes. "Mom, what's happening?" I turned instantly warm. "Nothing, honey, we're just talking grown-up stuff." He looked at Derek. "Dad?" Derek tried to smile, but it looked wrong on his face. "Hey, buddy." Leo's eyes narrowed a little, like he could sense tension even if he didn't understand it. I knelt and brushed his hair back. "How about a special sleepover in my room tonight, like camping?" Leo lit up. "With snacks?" "With snacks," I promised. He ran off to grab blankets. As soon as he left, Derek's face hardened. "Don't turn him against me." I stared at him. "You did that yourself." That night, I locked my bedroom door. I put a chair under the handle. I slept with my phone in my hand and the recording saved in a folder labeled Evidence. At 2:41 a.m., I woke to footsteps in the hallway. Slow, careful, a doorknob twist. Then silence. My breath froze in my throat. Leo snored softly beside me, unaware. I didn't move. In the dark, I texted Jenna, "He's outside my door. I'm scared." Her reply came instantly. "I'm driving. 35 minutes. Call 911 if he tries anything." I didn't call 911. Not yet. Because part of me still couldn't believe I was the kind of woman who had to. At 6:12 a.m., I heard Derek's truck start. It idled for 20 minutes, then shut off. He came back inside, as if he'd considered leaving, and decided against it. By sunrise, I had written a timeline in my notes app. Every late night, every missed event, every excuse, every time I'd blamed myself. I drove to the bank after dropping Leo at school. The banker smiled at me like it was a normal day. My hands shook as I opened my own account. I rerouted my direct deposit. I took screenshots of every balance before touching anything. I transferred exactly half from our joint account and left the rest untouched. When I got home, Derek was asleep on the couch, surrounded by empty beer cans and cigarette ash in a bowl that used to hold Halloween candy. I took photos from 3 angles. Evidence. He woke up as I moved past him and his face twisted with irritation. "What are you doing?" "Cleaning," I lied. He watched me like he didn't believe it. My phone buzzed with a fraud alert at 11:07 a.m. Derek was at an ATM downtown pulling cash from our joint account. My stomach dropped. I called the bank and froze it, but the rep's voice was apologetic. He already withdrew $300. I added it to the timeline. At lunch, Jenna called again, now with Mom beside her. Mom's face was furious in the video frame, so furious she looked calm. "Kayla," Mom said, voice tight, "is it true?" I couldn't speak, I just nodded. Mom's jaw clenched. He took money from Jenna, money she earned wiping blood off hospital floors, and he let you struggle. Jenna looked like she might cry. I thought I was helping. Mom turned her anger toward Derek like a spotlight. "Where is he?" "He's here," I whispered, "and I don't know if I'm safe." Mom's face softened instantly. "Pack a bag. I'm sending Uncle Ray to get you. He's 10 minutes away." Derek walked into the kitchen mid-call, hair messy, eyes sharp. He saw Mom on the screen. His posture changed. "Oh, so now you've got them involved." Mom stared at him like she could burn him through the phone. "Derek, you are done." He laughed, one short, bitter sound. "You can't just take my family." My spine went cold at the word my. I kept my voice steady. "They're not yours, they're Leo's." Derek stepped closer. "Kay, we can fix this. Don't do something you'll regret." I put the counter between us. "I already regret 2 years." Jenna's voice was firm. "Kay, Uncle Ray is outside." A knock came at the door. Derek's head snapped toward it. In that split second, I understood. If I didn't leave right now, I might not get another clean chance. I walked past Derek, heart hammering, and opened the door. Uncle Ray stood there, a big man with calm eyes and a baseball cap pulled low. "Hey, kiddo!" I wanted to cry, just seeing someone safe. I went to Leo's room, packed clothes fast, grabbed birth certificate copies, my folder of screenshots, my phone charger, the small box of jewelry I'd inherited. Derek followed, voice rising. "You're kidnapping my son." I turned my phone camera toward him. "Say that again." He froze. Because he realized I was documenting everything now. At school pickup, I told the office there was a family emergency. I asked them to note, only release Leo to me. The secretary nodded, sympathetic. "We can do that." Leo walked out with his backpack and smiled when he saw Uncle Ray's truck. "Are we going somewhere?" I swallowed. "Just for a little while, buddy." That night at Mom's house, I didn't sleep. Leo asked where Derek was. I said, "Dad has grown-up problems he needs to fix." Leo frowned. "Is it my fault?" My heart broke. "No, baby, never." I got an email at 1:17 a.m. from a payday loan company. "Thank you for your application." I hadn't applied. My hands went numb. By morning, I had frozen my credit, filed an FTC identity report, and printed the fraud confirmation. It wasn't just Jenna's money. Derek was trying to light my life on fire on his way out. 3 days later, we met a legal aid attorney. She listened without interrupting, eyes sharp. When I showed the casino withdrawals lined up next to Jenna's deposits, her mouth tightened. "This is financial abuse," she said, "and the identity theft gives us stronger leverage." I nodded. "I just want my son safe." "You're doing the right things," she said. "Document, no direct contact, and we'll file for emergency custody." That afternoon, Derek sent a text. "If you don't bring Leo home, I'll come get him." I screenshot it, then another. "You think you can keep my son from me? Try." Screenshot. The lawyer took my phone, nodded once, and said, "Good. Good." Because for the first time, someone believed me without asking me to minimize it. That night, Derek showed up outside Mom's house, pounding on the door, shouting Leo's name. Leo woke up crying. Mom stood at the door without opening it and called 911 with one hand, her other hand holding me behind her like a shield. When the police arrived, Derek tried to charm them, voice calm, hands open. "I just want to see my son." The officer asked, "Did you threaten her by text?" Derek's eyes flicked. I held up my phone. "Yes." The officer's posture shifted. "Sir, you need to leave." Derek looked at me, and the hate in his eyes was quiet but clear. It said, "I will punish you for this." And that's when I knew leaving was not just the right choice. It was the only choice. 2 weeks later, in court, the judge flipped through the evidence. She looked at Derek. "You received money meant for the child and used it for gambling?" Derek's lawyer tried to spin it as a marital finance misunderstanding. But the judge's eyes were not soft. She granted me temporary primary custody. Derek got supervised visitation. When we walked out, Leo held my hand tightly. "Mom," he whispered, "are we okay now?" I looked down at him and thought of Jenna's monthly payments, of the party decorations, of all the nights I felt like I was drowning. I knelt and kissed his forehead. "We're getting okay," I said, one step at a time. That night, Jenna sat beside me on Mom's porch with 2 mugs of tea. "I'm sorry," she whispered again. I shook my head. "Don't. You tried to love us from far away." She stared into her cup. "I just hate that he made you think you were alone." I looked out at the dark yard where Leo's bike was parked, safe behind a fence. "He did," I said quietly, "but he doesn't get to decide that anymore." My phone buzzed once. A new message from Derek. "I'm going to rehab if you drop everything." I stared at the screen and felt nothing. No hope, no fear, just clarity. I forwarded it to my lawyer, then I turned the phone face down and went inside to tuck my son into bed. Leo was already asleep, clutching the cheap paper crown from his birthday. I ran my fingers over the creases and thought, I will never let anyone steal his joy again.